London, an exceptional oil painting by Egyptian artist Mahmoud Said Egypt, 1897-1964, described as one of his most striking paintings, by the artist's catalogue Raisonné, will lead the modern and contemporary Middle Eastern art sale. Estimated at £350,000 minus £500,000, La Mise au Tombeau marks a turning point in the development of what is now recognized as Said's signature style. It has never before appeared at auction and represents one of the few instances where a narrative scene has entered the market. Noor Saoussi, head of sale, remarks, "The painting is particularly fascinating, as it demonstrates how Said started to take risks, finding his identity as an artist. He grew tired of the staid conventions of academic portraiture and landscapes and sought to capture more intimate scenes from Egyptian everyday life. His first work with a religious subject matter, it signals Said's gaze shifting to his immediate surroundings, his home nation. It contributes to a robust history of Egyptian funerary art, yet the specific choice of an entombment references the death of Christ, central to a Western canon populated by Flemish primitive painters and Tintoretto. In appropriating this narrative, he elevates the plight of the ordinary civilians to that of the holy and the heroic. La Mise au Tombeau's significance is shown in its provenance. It belonged to the daughter of the artist and was exhibited twice in major retrospectives while on loan to the Museum of Fine Arts in Alexandria. Other highlights include Gaza by Omar El Nagdi, Egypt, 1931-2019. Another striking lot is Gaza, a 9-meter quadriche, Omar El Nagdi's commemoration of the 2009 Gaza War. This clash between Israeli Defense Forces and the Gaza Strip Palestinian paramilitary groups concluded with heavy losses on the Palestinian side, a tragedy which provoked the Egyptian artist to give visual language to the Palestinian persecution and the brutalities exacted by their oppressors. Figures are distorted and splintered, divorced from their humanity as pain suffuses their faces. Nagdi's embrace of art as a means of activism, his rendering of the trauma of the war, follows the example of 20th-century masters Goya and Picasso. Estimate £250,000 minus £450,000. Croisé B by Mohamed Melehi, Morocco, 1936-2020. Mohamed Melehi's monumental diptych Croisé B, previously shown at the artist's landmark exhibition in the Bronx Museum in 1984, is similarly groundbreaking. With his hypnotizing wave canvases, Melehi fused Western abstraction with the patterns and decorative schemes that emerged from African and Eastern cultures, demonstrating how the latter predated the former. Estimate £80,000 minus £120,000. British fighter Lisa Whiteside will relaunch her professional career with Probellum and is set on winning a world title for young Sun Jensen. Whiteside was a world-class amateur with Great Britain and England, boxing over 120 times and picking up medals at various international tournaments, before turning professional in 2019. But after 3 fights, the Chorley-born boxer stepped away from the sport to focus on becoming a mum, and she gave birth to baby boy Jensen on Boxing Day 2020. A shoulder injury then hampered comeback plans, but Whiteside is now ready to return to the ring, and having signed a promotional deal with Probellum, the 2018 Commonwealth Games gold medalist is set on grabbing world title chances, and quickly. Mick Day trained Whiteside, 36, will campaign at super bantamweight and says all she needs is one fight before being ready to start pushing for contests with Maëlyn Rivers, Ségolène Lefebvre and the other world title holders at 122 pounds. Lisa Whiteside said, "My goal is to become world champion, and I believe Probellum, together with S-Jam Boxing, will put me in a position to get the fights I need. I've been out of boxing for almost 3 years because I had a baby and then a shoulder injury put a spanner in the works, so I need to get that one fight under my belt, but after that I am ready to go. The drive to succeed that my son Jensen gives me, to go and get that world title belt for him, is incredible. I just want to make him super proud and bring home a world title." Richard Schaefer, president of Probellum, said, Lisa is yet another great addition to Probellum's stable of female fighters. Women's boxing has never been as popular, or as packed with talent. There are huge fights to be made everywhere you look in the sport, and that is our focus with Lisa. Deliver her the big fights. She was a supremely talented amateur, and we know she has the perfect style and attitude for the pros. Lisa is ready to fight anyone, anywhere, anytime. Whiteside, who has recently teamed up with Tyson Fury's strength and conditioning coach Christian Blacklock to aid her training, says joining Probellum raises the prospect of fighting on the same card as another Chorley hero. Jack Catterall is Chorley born and bred like me, and I would love to be able to share a show with him, said Whiteside. That would be amazing. He's a top guy, and it was unfortunate what happened in his last fight, but it has put him on a bigger platform, and you can see the love the public have for him. That show would be a sellout, 100%. A drug dealer who planned the supply of £800,000 worth of cocaine has been jailed for 9 years and 2 months. John Germain, 33, of Holt Drive, Berkshire, Lancashire, was arrested on the 27th of September last year on Bolton Road, Ashton in Makerfield, near Wigan, by officers from the Specialist Merseyside Organised Crime Partnership, OCP. On the back seat of his white Ford Cougar was £13,000 in cash and a 1 kilo bar of cocaine with a purity of 83%. In the glove compartment, officers found a further £4,880 in cash and 124 grams of cocaine with a purity of 74%. OCP officers searched a storage unit in Berkshire which Germain rented, and they discovered 9 more kilos of cocaine and 6.4 kilos of cannabis. Germain used the storage unit to prepare drugs for onwards supply. Between May 2019 and September 2021 there were deposits and outgoings from Germain's bank account totaling around £133,000. During the same period he paid just £730 tax from his job as a courier. Germain admitted possession with intent to supply Class A and B drugs and possession of criminal property at Liverpool Crown Court. Alongside him was Daniel Weaver, 35, of Cherry Lane, Anfield, Liverpool. Weaver was a passenger in the car when it was stopped, and his fingerprints were on some of the cocaine packaging. He was convicted by a jury of possession with intent to supply Class A drugs and acquiring, using criminal property. He was jailed for 7 years. The OCP is a specialist team of officers from the National Crime Agency and Merseyside Police. The unit was formed to help fight drugs and firearms crime across Merseyside. Detective Chief Inspector Paul Spate said, Germain was clearly an important link between street deals and larger consignments of drugs moving around the northwest. He played a leading role in this conspiracy as he'd rented and operated a secure location where he could prepare his deals.